This call is being recorded. If you do not wish to be recorded, please disconnect at this time.
Good day. I am the voice of We Provoke Thought. I'm calling this basically to get your permission to engage in a 2 to 5 minute recorded dialogue about various subjects not limited to global, domestic, or personal issues and events. Now, We Provoke Thought is an organization and show that is looking to be the platform for all of those who have an opinion, idea, or educated information to share to the world, an outlet to voice your feelings and or facts. Now, you've been informed that this phone call is being recorded. I will ask again for your permission to continue with having this call and with the full knowledge that you're being recorded, and then agreeing to We Provoke Thought to publish this call on our Facebook, We Provoke Thought, on our YouTube channel, We Provoke Thought, and webpage. Now, understand that this is strictly anonymous. Nothing about your information or identity will be published from your name or number. The only thing that will be published is your voice to be heard by the world. And here at We Provoke Thought, we understand that we do provoke thought, and for that, we do not apologize. So, may I ask, so what city and or state are you in?
Calling from Orlando, Florida.
Orlando, Florida. All right. And, like I said before, we can talk about any subject that you wish to speak about. One of the more popular subjects right now, and being in Orlando, Florida, it would be the Trayvon versus Zimmerman case. But again, we're not limited to talking to anything about, say, family or religion. Or I like to always also bring up Fukushima. People forget that there's still a radioactive spillage going on there in Japan. But what would you like to speak about?
I'd like to speak about the decision in the Trayvon Martin case.
Okay. Well, tell us, how do you feel about the Trayvon versus Zimmerman case?
My feeling is that I was stunned by the decision of the jury, because I feel, this is my feeling, I could be wrong, but I felt that these people went into that jury room with their mind all made up, So, and coming out so quick, because they went in that Friday and the decision was Saturday, Saturday night, First, this guy been lying from Jump Street. Everything this man said was a lie. Because I want to know, on God's planet, which place on God's planet a man with a gun is going to be crying out for help with a 17-year-old kid. Say the kid attacked him, and you got a gun, and you're crying out for help. The only time I feel that a guy with a gun should be crying out for help is when he's on the battlefield and he is overcome by the enemy, and he wants reinforcement. You understand?
Right.
That's the time a guy with a gun call for help. Because you give a guy a gun, go out there, and even if he's a little mouse, when he got the gun, now he's a lion.
Right.
So this thing really, I'm really ticked off about the whole situation, man. I mean, I'm from the island, man. I'm from Jamaica, and what I see took place a couple of Saturdays ago. Man, if it was the island, London Bridge would be burning.
I understand. Now, and I do understand your passion about what has taken place, because a lot of people side with you in that feeling. But I do also have to ask various questions to also get your views on, such as, one would say that if Zimmerman was black, this would be considered a black-on-black crime, and that this case, this whole incident would not have carried as far. Do you agree or disagree?
Okay. No. If it was a black-on-black situation, it would be like just, hey, just another black man killing another black man. They're killing each other off in Chicago every day. You know, that's how society would look at it. You know what I mean? But just for instance, if Trayvon was standing his ground and he did this to Zimmerman, you know, when the guy was walking free after he killed the kid, you know, Trayvon couldn't stand even like a half an hour when they come down and they realize that you shot this white boy or Spanish boy or whatever kind of boy he's supposed to be, this mixed up boy, you know, this Trayvon, hey, they would have put on chain, shackles, all kind of thing onto him, but this dude was walking freely because of what? You know,
you're saying that if Trayvon was white and Zimmerman was black, that this case would have been
right.
Would have been an upheaval going on. And
yeah.
Okay, all right, and I understand that because again,
you know,
your views are shared by many others.
Yeah, because you know this is what I'm saying. If it was if it was Trayvon who shot Zimmerman, just this Zimmerman, George, and it was Trayvon who shot him, Trayvon wouldn't be walking. First, he would be in jail. I'm turning it around, but it's Mr. Zimmerman who shot Trayvon, and he's gonna lie. And says he doesn't know nothing about stand your ground. You know.
Well,
even
now
the professor who was in his class came and said he was one of his students. You know.
Yes, I did hear about that as well. I did read about that. I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Now.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. This is your show.
And then you see, these people gonna say, this jury that went in, you know, Trayvon wasn't represented there. Trayvon was not represented there. All white. What happened? You're gonna take a all white jury and put on a black man got killed? What do you expect? What's gonna come out of it? You know? You see, they got to go back to their place of living, you know, where they live at. You understand? So they have to go in because they couldn't come and say, well, and they find this Zimmerman guilty, because then they go back to where they live at. Next thing you know, the neighborhood home. You love black people, and then you know some of them start to hold their head like distance away from them, you know. But at the same time, man, you know, these people, they know that.
Well, a lot of people feel slighted about the justice system and how justice, if you will, handled this case. Some would even say that the jury, an all-female jury, was in Zimmerman's favor. I've had one caller say that he brought up the point that
George, you know, they calling him George, you know, and have the nerve to call Trayvon the boy. You understand? But George, like buddy, you understand? Like she know him personally. Other people say Mr. Zimmerman or whatever Zimmerman, but all of a sudden she is being interviewed and she's talking about George, you know, like he was some kind of a friend to her. You understand? You know?
I definitely understand. Well, and another call pointed out that within all-female, all-woman jury, you have the look of, well, who's more frightened of a young black male in the hood? And you would versus men over women, you would say that women would be more terrified and frightened by a young black male in the hood over a male would. So to have a jury of all women and not of his peers, some would say that this was a loaded case to begin with. But nonetheless, unfortunately, Trayvon is dead, and we do want to put our hearts out there for the family Trayvon and also Zimmerman, because, again, this is a tragic incident that has occurred that has shaken both sides. But, again, I believe that it is important to hear the voices of those in that area and all abroad to let the world know that, this type of thing should not be tolerated. And we should not use this case to continue to spew hate and race wars, rather to use this case to do what is necessary to strengthen our communities.
Yeah. But you see, at the same time, where's justice? That's what we're looking for.
Exactly.
Justice. You understand? That's what I'm looking for. In other words, now, you got some copycat. You understand? Will go out and do the same thing. You understand? Because of the decision, because he figured, well, then, hey, I can go out and get away like George. Pretty soon, one guy say, sending your kid to the store to go get a high tea and some Skittles, you have to dress him up in a tuxedo because, you got to put him in a tuxedo because anybody wearing a hoodie, is being some kind of a suspect. You understand? Once you get inside a certain neighborhood,
Well, here's my last question to you. Yeah. What do you feel about the stand your ground law there in Florida?
Okay, there you go. That's what I'm talking about now. That is what I'm talking about. Everyone can put out what they're trying to bring about. The Wild Wild West. Wild Wild West. That's where they bring it in. You see Lapierre. Ron Lapierre. This gun. The NRA president. What he's supposed to be with the NRA. All he wants.
Right.
You don't care about people's life. You don't care about people's life. All you want to do is sell guns and make money. You understand? Because look what's going on in Newtown. You understand? What goes on in Newtown, the man should at least have some kind of a heart. People say, hey, look, man, we need some kind of gun control. No, I don't need no gun control. I need to sell guns and make money. So he's putting money over people's lives. But hey, payday, payday is in the making,
Well, with that, I will say that it is definitely important for us all to be more active in our community and strengthen up first our homes. I like to always bring things back to family because family is important. And unfortunately, these two men, one being Trayvon, who's no longer going to be with his family, his family is now shaken, and Zimmerman's family as well. And I believe that the community has failed Trayvon in this whole situation because, again, we have a gentleman who was, as many have put it, playing cop, if you will, and we basically got to strengthen our communities to the point where we don't need to fear outsiders coming in or so. From what I understand, the community in which Trayvon was in and Zimmerman was in was one that had been stricken with robberies and things of that nature. So again, it goes back. It starts with family, and then we got to branch that out into community. We got to strengthen our communities.
But at the same time, hey, I mean, this is his words. The suspect of what? Suspect of what? Suspect with a can of iced tea and a bag of Skittles, didn't have a gun. You ain't seen no gun. So why is a suspect? Did you see him commit some kind of a robbery or do anything? But all of a sudden he's being labeled as a suspect. Right. Hey? Right. Come on.
Well, everything spelled down here doesn't sound right. Everything that's spelled out so far doesn't sound right. So I'm going to end it here. I do thank you for giving me the time into your world. I do appreciate your input, and I hope the world does as well. Now, you'll be able to hear this broadcast on the YouTube www.youtube.com/user/We Provoke Thought. On Facebook, We Provoke Thought. And on the web page, www.weprovokethought.com and .org. I thank you again. I look forward to maybe speaking to you in the future. If you like, you can call our call line, which is 866-91-VOICE. Once again, 866-91-VOICE. I'm going to end it here. I'll say goodbye to you on the other end. And understand that you are dealing with We Provoke Thought, and for that, we do not apologize.
And I'm going to say, Irie. That's what I say in my country, man. No problem, man.
Irie. No problem.
This call has been recorded.